probably have to fix because I have some maybe a little bit more periods here and there, or lay it out a little bit better. But um, other than that, I just wanted to get it over and done with, and then fix it afterwards, and then get what I wanted to say in this video. So yeah, so we're playing though because I have a bunch of my other games are sadly uploading. Even ones I need to make videos, such as somebody asked for Joker Batman video on Fortnite, and right now that's got an update. So I'm waiting, so I'll just be showing you everything that's been done in Minecraft. This is my world with my friends. My friends might even pop on during this video. This video will be on at all times to be uploaded, so you can watch it whenever. Even though I use live streams a lot for this, it is probably one of the better ways for me to do what I want and get these out as quickly as I can, as well as be interactive with people who do come on to comment on the videos. So I try to get to every comment, and I'm sorry if I delay stuff. I will still be getting to the read-alongs as well as the Joker slash Batman video soon. And as for doing Mark Hamill or Kevin Conroy, I believe, voices, I'm not very good at them. I'd have to practice them. I have times where I am, but it's kind of more accidental or random when I'm able to do those more properly, so I have to like get used to them and figure them out. So hopefully you can hear me fine. Hopefully the audio is fine. There's no mess ups or hiccups or anything. Hopefully visually this is fine. I should actually check that as I'm recording. I'll probably be showing you guys around. That Joker is awful, by the way. I want to rebuild that thing, but for right now that's how it's going to stand. I just wanted something Joker related in here to reflect some of my personality and or what I like or don't like. We're probably going to I'll show you some of the things I have planned for the future of building here, or outside of here. Let me just check my video, make sure that it's running fine. Man, this thing just is freaking slow. It's a brand new phone too, and it's being like this. Anyways, I wanted to talk about Salt Factory's titles in particular. I do have a couple of things to say about his videos. I just went over a couple. I wanted to mostly go over the final thoughts of his videos because I do think he has a lot of constructive stuff that is laid out. I think I even say this in the description below. I think he does have a lot of good stuff. Why is Elden Ring my freaking... Is it just because that's the picture on my channel or something? What is that? Yeah, I always get that warning, whatever, you're not gonna actually do it though. So, I'm just trying to make sure that the video is fine. So, I mostly want to complain about a few things, as well as more of the final thoughts. Factory as well. The video titles, absolutely, like, they piss me off. They feel kind of obvious, but I'm like he's not giving it a good enough shake-up because I don't exactly understand. Like, okay, it looks like the video is coming in fine. I don't exactly understand. Alright, that's done. Why he can't just name like his Skyrim video, for example, like the other videos. Maybe he shouldn't even have as good as I remember as his titles. I think it should be something else in general. It feels so. This is hard to explain, but when I saw his title for Skyrim, for example, where he's like shallow experience, it's like it didn't feel very fair. And then he said Mass Effect 3 is Mass Effect 3 as bad as he remembers. He did come out with a different result on that one, which I do agree with, but I don't feel like the video represents the game. I guess it is from his perspective of what he thought, but I feel like he's just very much, it's almost like he's somebody who wants to hate, especially in Skyrim's case, wants to hate on it just because it's popular, and he doesn't think that it's as good as everybody else makes it out to be, which Skyrim has its problems, definitely, but I don't think Skyrim's a shallow experience, and there are certainly a lot of things to contribute to Skyrim not being a shallow experience. Some of my favorite things about Skyrim, I actually think that Oblivion has a lot of problems, in my opinion. I even think that while yes, there's a lot lesser content to Skyrim, I find it more fun, and I don't think necessarily the writing is terrible so much as it's just lacking, or it doesn't have enough, once again, content or even context sometimes. Um, but I think Skyrim's still really fun. It's a lot of fun. I still feel like the personality of a Elder Scrolls game is there, and there are examples where Skyrim does take some good of both Morrowind and Oblivion, or take both worlds. Because honestly, I think Oblivion's a little bit more handholdy than Skyrim in a way. Just a little bit. Because, first off, I think you can fast travel to any or most of the bigger known cities almost as soon as you escape that dungeon area. And then you take Morrowind, for example, where you use those big bugs to travel around, and you need coin for that. It's the same as the cart system in Skyrim. Skyrim takes both worlds of both games and makes its fast travel system. And I think it has a good balance between the two. I also think Skyrim is the best looking of the games and has my favorite art style of them, which honestly in Morrowind's case isn't really a problem, as I do still love Morrowind. I think Morrowind is the better game. I think even without mods, Skyrim is a really good experience. I'll just show you guys around. I'm sorry that I'm just kind of walking back and forth. Got Vader. I guess this is Vader's castle, kind of. Somebody told me it's something different, but whatever, we're doing the vote thing, because we have each of these characters for mayor. Oops, I'm getting stuck on crap. This is the new town hall, also, for our place. So, what is this? Sadly, my friend tore down an entire nice house that used to be here, and I built this instead. We have a basement area. But also the music describes what each game is like, and I think they did a fantastic job with the music, and sadly the music is also the problem that I have with Oblivion eventually. Because Oblivion's the game that has very so-and-so guilds. I love the Thieves and I love the Dark Brotherhood, but I hate the Mages Guild, and the Fighters Guild is just meh at best. And while the guilds are definitely short, but I feel like they're short but sweet in Skyrim. Yeah, you become the leader of a lot of the guilds a little too quickly. There are definitely problems. I need to do something about this. This is a Starfax temperatures thing. But and we also this is kind of like coming a little bit of Animal Crossing. We get the Iron Giant's got his own house. He doesn't like to be disturbed. Oh wow. We got Mr. and Mrs. John enjoying the snow. I did it as a reference to Jon Snow from Game of Thrones. This is their little house, a little igloo. And I think that calling Skyrim a shallow experience, I don't know, it feels dishonest at the same time as just, it's like, I don't know how to describe it. I guess he's just a boring person is best I would say. Because if he finds that Skyrim is a really shallow experience, then because he even says at the end that he played Skyrim through once and never touched again. First off, I don't believe that. I think you've made other characters on that game before, and you'd probably be lying to yourself. I would like to see your character list, by the way, and how many. Like, if you do have, honestly, what you say you used for doing this video on, then okay. But then I would have to ask, have you had other versions of Skyrim, and how many characters have you had on those, if you have? So then there's that to bring into question. I really doubt that he honestly had just the one character, but he could have, and just be a boring person. I think Skyrim is really fun. It is kind of a biased thing for me. It is a biased thing to him, too, but I feel like, at the end of the day, I think the titles... Oh god, that sounds like a Quantum TV. At the end of the day, kill yourself, man. No, I'm just joking. But, I just don't feel like that title is going to bring me in to watch your video. I feel like he needs to title them differently, even the ones that say as good as I remember. I don't agree with all of those, because then we come to Mass Effect 3 and it's like, did people really think Mass Effect 3 was bad? I don't think people thought Mass Effect 3 was bad as the entire product, but I think that, and the titles come across like it's saying that, like it's trying to speak for other people too, and that's why I think this hurts, especially when you're making a video for the internet to watch. You know what you're doing. And it does come across like he's trying to say this is what the audience, at least when it comes to the title of the video, is thinking about this game. Because especially in Mass Effect 3's case, after knowing all the other games and knowing that, yeah, that is how people think. People do think that, oh, this game is as good as I remember. Of course it is. Or it would be cool to look back. Is it as good to remember? But then there's freaking Mass Effect 3, where it's like, is it as bad as I remember? And I'm like, I don't remember anybody thinking it was bad. Matter of fact, Mass Effect 3 is honestly my favorite of the games. I love Mass Effect 2. I will never deny Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect 2 is up there. But Mass Effect 3 is probably the game that got me the most in the feels. Like, that game legitimately made me cry. I feel like that while there's great choices in Mass Effect 2, it does feel kind of cheapened when you realize you need certain, like a freaking cannon and shields and all sorts of crap just to survive, have everybody survive the ending, because you need to upgrade the Normandy itself. It's like, it does feel a bit cheaping me out on the ending. And the ending is not great in Mass Effect 3, definitely, but I think there's that everything, the culmination of everything else in Mass Effect 3 is really good. And yes, I do think that a lot of stuff is watered down. I just think that those titles are very doing a disservice, or they're very dishonest in a way. Or not really dishonest from his point of view, but more of a point of view of if he's trying audience's perspective of that game. I don't think he's doing that any favors. And that, I think that Skyrim is still a really good game. It's still very worthy of being a good Elder Scrolls 2. I feel like it's got the soul. Take, for example, ESO. ESO is more of a game I would expect a title like Shallow Experience to, because ESO does not have the personality of an Elder Scrolls game. I still feel like Skyrim has the personality of a Morrowind or even Oblivion game. It still feels like it has that Elder Scrolls personality. And I just feel like calling it a shallow experience just does not do it any kind of justice. And it it feels awful to see a title like that and be like, this is disgusting. There's the Emperor's Palace over there. But yeah, I just don't feel like the titles as of lately have been very good or representative of the product entirely, or what people think of the product. At least it comes across that way, to an extent, once again. I do think his videos are great. I just think his choice for the titles, mostly, there are a couple of problems I have, more so in his Skyrim video than his Mass Effect video, but I'm getting sick of these titles. I think he even kinda did one for Witcher, but honestly, I do kind of feel that way about Witcher, so... But I will bring that up as an example. Oh, I forgot to look around that area, and a little walkway. Yeah, I wanted to make this place feel like an evil fortress. Is my chair. Yay. I should probably put a redstone there, because they have these big red glowy things. There, at our bee farm. I'll have to introduce you guys. I have Buck Bumble down there. I named one of the bees Buck Bumble. I just hope he's around. And once again, one of my friends might pop online. But yeah, like his titles have been pissing me off. When I saw the when my friend brought up, my friend came to me and said, "Hey Tam, what do you think of the video by Salt Factory called Skyrim is a Shallow Experience?" And I'm like, frick off. What an asshole. I've played so much Skyrim, I've even made new characters, and this is even without mods a lot of the times. I've made several characters, made different builds, had a lot of fun, and I honestly like the story, even though there are half-assed aspects to it. I do like the way the story plays out. It feels like that fantastical journey and adventure that that I would love to have in like real life even. I would love to have a fantastical journey like that. Is it not cool? And there's a lot of elements that come across a lot cooler than people make them out to be. Like straight up Irish saying Alduin's a boring boss fight, and it's like, did you not mention that he has 2 boss fights? You're only talking about one of them. He had 2, and they were both more on paper. I think they sound awesome, but they're not terrible, and they still have great presentation. I think they're cool. And Alduin has that kind of Sephiroth presence. I at least remember Alduin just like Dagoth Ur. I at least remember them and the presence they left. It was very similar to Sauron in Lord of the Rings, or once again Sephiroth and Final Fantasy. And those characters are barely seen in those, honestly. They make their first appearance where they're killing killing important characters to you, and then they disappear for the longest time, and you mostly hear them talked about rather than actually see them do these actions, which kind of ruins the whole show don't tell aspect of storytelling. I don't know what my friend is doing over there, but everything that he's collecting to make those blocks is going to take a really long time to build his house. We have a turtle farm over here. Let me show you this. We also lit a lot of the area, so even the underwater is lit. We used to have some turtle eggs right there. We'll have to take that down. But yeah, this is a little turtle farm. Eee, there's 4 turtles in there. Got a bunch of sugar cane everywhere. Wish I could see it into here, but I'm gonna have a problem doing that. This is gonna be something soon. I gotta work on it more. It's not done yet. I also don't feel like it looks all that great yet. I mean, it's not done once again, but I feel like I hope the final look for it is fine. And I am going to probably decorate it up, like put some windows in it and such, make it less boring looking. Probably some red windows. Got our nether portal here. And Yeah, this is the axolotl slash was going to be other fish aquarium, but now it's just the axolotl. We don't know where the other axolotl went though, but he's over there, just hanging out. Yeah, I just don't feel like I feel like his videos have been, his video titles at least have been pissing me off. I don't feel like his Mass Effect video title is very honest. How would I name those videos though? Because I can see why he would have named them the way they are, but now that it's getting to this point where it feels kind of dishonest, or he could just make a series known as Is It As Good or Bad As I Remember? Maybe he could do something like that. Maybe that would be a better title. Was so-and-so as good or bad as I remember, or something. I don't know. The Shallow Experience one especially ticks me off, because that one just comes across very, naive, and like he's already being very selfish about that one, because it's like you make a ton of videos from this point on called Is It As Good or Bad As I Remember? And this one time, there's finally a video that comes out for a game known as Skyrim, which was big with a lot of people, especially back then. And your way of titling that video is Skyrim's a shallow experience, man. It's kind of like I don't even need to watch the video to already know what you're saying. I don't feel like your title helps the video at all. Yeah, whoever does your titles, unless it's you, which it probably is, judging by everything you talk about in the video, really bad call on the title. Really bad call on the title there. I know it's how you feel, but I think I think even Skyrim would have a title more like, Is Skyrim as mediocre or bland as I remember? Because that's kind of saying it's shallow is kind of like somebody making a title saying like, oh, is Fallout 2 too overrated? I think Fallout 2 is too overrated or something, because it's known as one of the better Fallout games. It's kind of like you're having a very selfish viewpoint, just title alone. I'm not taking away from what you're saying in the videos, but your titles are pissing me off now. I was willing to let it go after the Skyrim one, but now you did Mass Effect 3 kind of dirty with that title. I think that I do like the things you bring up. I think there are problems with Mass Effect 3, definitely. I feel that a lot of the areas, like the Citadel area, as well as there are some glitches. The Citadel area is a lot smaller each game. It gets a lot smaller each game. And the RPG elements do start to water down each game too, but I still think they're to some extent still there, and I think Mass Effect 3 is a really good game nonetheless. And of course that ending does hurt it, but I don't think anybody thought it was bad. And I don't know if you're speaking, and it's hard to give judgment on if you're speaking for yourself when you talk about Mass Effect 3 using that title, or if you're speaking on behalf of other people. The Skyrim one does feel like it is you, definitely, but it's not a good title either. But, and I mean, you are using you as you remember, so that does come across as like it is supposed to just be your perspective, and I'm sure you definitely do clear that up for people in the video, but it doesn't, it's kinda comes across both ways at the same time in the video. It's kinda like having a mixed message. You can say one thing and have the other. I think I am probably gonna look a bit hypocritical. I won't deny it. I even say it, put that down in my description. But I think that these titles need to be changed, or that they don't speak honestly, true, or clear of the final product. and if somebody else wanted to get into these games. I know there's so many videos praising a lot of these games. The hell? Oh, it's... okay. I'll go to sleep. But it doesn't mean you have to put a goddamn title. You just look like another jackass on frickin' YouTube putting up a video like, oh, Skyrim's overrated, it's a piece of garbage. And it's like... and while you're not coming across it that same way, it feels like you kind of blend with those same people, and it feels out of place for what we've come to know your video titles to be in the past. It just it's kind of sad. I love your content, but I've actually stopped watching your content since the Skyrim one. I have watched a couple in between, like the Witcher stuff, but I kind of got, like, sick of it after that, and I went on to, like, Chris Davis and other YouTube channels. I watched a freaking 8-hour-long analysis of Death Stranding. I don't mind watching those videos, but I don't know. Something about the way you're approaching your titles have been really irking me lately. And yeah, it's really probably the only problem I have at the end of the day. And I'm not saying that you're truly being dishonest in that. I just feel like it's coming across almost in an aggressive manner that it makes someone like me come out and be like, okay, look, I hate your title, your clickbait garbage title, and here's why. I also want to bring up that I think that each Elder Scrolls use of music at the beginning of the menu alone of each game kind of tells you what the game is going to be, or what you're getting yourself into. I do think that Skyrim's title screen is probably the most bland of them a little bit, but I still think that there's enough going on there to tell you what you're getting yourself into with each product. Like, Morrowind's got a title screen that has music that tells you what you like. The title screen looks like it's kind of an old parchment of paper or something, an old map or something. It could possibly be, and it kind of speaks like what that game is now. And music reflects what you're getting yourself into with Morrowind. Morrowind has like fantastical music that sounds alien and mysterious, but still fantastical and adventurous, and even dangerous. Like, it speaks a lot of things, and I feel like that definitely rings true for this. I got a bunch of these dinks in here, by the way. That rings true with these games. With that game, I mean. And then Oblivion has the generic title screen that's kind of bland. It's got the generic medieval version, like medieval kind of fantasy vibe. Its music kind of tells you, oh, you're into, and just like the same as the game. The game feels very generic medieval style, even down to having minotaurs and crap, which is more Greek, but you know, it does tell you what you're getting into, and that is my feeling of Oblivion. It is kind of generic medieval crap. And then you got Skyrim, which I love Nordic settings. I'm kind of a sucker for it. I think they did a good job. I do find a lot of the characters memorable, especially by this point, like with how much I've played it. Of course I'm gonna find it memorable. Even like, I know a lot of the characters as if it's Animal Crossing almost. Like, a lot of these characters are friends of mine, and that are almost like real people at times. Just like Mass Effect 3 in particular has that same feeling. A lot of the Mass Effects do. All three of them do. It feels like I know these characters, like they were family or something, or somebody I knew that, like, was a next door neighbor or something. I don't know. is really cool, those experiences and the personality that that world brings. And I don't think that the game is shallow even in like the story. I still enjoy even the story, the characters. There's still great lore. Um, and when you dig, it is fun, and I do love it. It does go in depth. And I think the dungeons aren't bad. I actually think the dungeons are better than what we've gotten in the past. Like, look at, like, I feel like that kind of comes across in a weird way, because he's saying, like, the dungeons are awful, or, like, they don't come across in a way that feels satisfying. And it's like, they definitely are more satisfying than Oblivion. And even Morrowind to an extent, dungeons. Because since Morrowind has such limited technology, it doesn't have much, and that's not really a Morrowind, but it is, if you are trying to get into Morrowind and saying that your one dungeon is better, that their dungeons are better, I guess in the story, yes. But in the context of the actual dungeon itself and how much fun you have with it and the variety to it, um, or maybe the level design of it, I feel like Skyrim hits a lot of those cylinders more. Who left this door open? Is that me and I'm just dumbass? Um, I just feel like Skyrim hits that more. Skyrim's dungeons, most of them are very different. There are some boring ones. Like, it's not always like same thing. Uh, Dungeon does feel genuinely. They feel they feel fun and interesting. I do remember a lot of the dungeons in Skyrim where I actually think that not only the reusing of assets and areas of Oblivion, being that you go through the same goddamn dungeons over and over again in Oblivion, like, frick off, um, is just really boring. It's Morrowind, honestly, because of its age, a lot of its dungeons don't come across the same exact way as they would. They're still great dungeons and they're full of danger and you don't know if you're going to live around every corner, but the graphics do kind of hinder like the look of them, and I think that Skyrim's graphics, while I wouldn't say they hold up, they definitely work for the sake of the atmosphere and making each dungeon look and even feel different from the others. I mean, you will see a good share of some of the same enemies, like the Draugr, for example. I can definitely see stuff like that getting boring, but would that be no different in the other games? Like, you definitely see a lot of the same goddamn enemies in the other games, so I don't think that would be too much different. Maybe you're more bored of a type of enemy, like maybe Draugr are more boring than seeing whatever, like, maybe goblins or something in fricking Oblivion or something. Like, maybe you see those too much, but there's definitely a lot of that same repetitive mediocre feeling to even the other games. So, yeah, I don't fully agree with the examples brought, to an extent at least. And I think they do a good job. And when it comes to Skyrim's music, Skyrim's got big, booming, theatrical kind of music, and it also speaks fantasy, but it really does kind of give you that sense for that Celtic or Nordic setting or whatever. I think that it represents the game just right. Like, it's theatrical. The game is trying to feel kind of like it's a movie in a way. It's trying to be more cinematic. And then you got the booming music. It's very action-packed, which this game is probably the most action-focused, where other games have been a lot slower. Kind of talk your way through situations, or maybe different outcomes to situations, especially in Morrowind. Like, Oblivion is probably the ugliest as well as the most bland of the games now, and Oblivion is a game I honestly do have a hard time returning to. It's got those so funny, like, so bad it's good moments that, like, someone like General Sam can show you. Like, there'll be hilarious moments, or just, like, the memes that have come out of Oblivion. Of course, frickin' Oblivion is gonna have those. But, like, I mean, that's not too far from Skyrim either. I mean, people love being rocketed in the frickin' air by a giant, or some of the interactions with the guards that have become memes also in Skyrim. And there's still a lot of quotable, memorable lines from Skyrim too, just as Oblivion. So I don't entirely agree on some fronts of the game, and hopefully something I brought here was interesting. Though it is just my opinion, and like I said, leave it to your decision, your choice opinion at the end of the day. Hopefully you got some of this, and hopefully maybe Salt Factory will rethink those video titles. I mean, sure, he can go on doing those video titles, and I mean, I haven't completely stopped watching him altogether. I've never unsubscribed to him, and I'm not trying to come across like, unsubscribe from him because he's a dumbass and he does titles like this. No, but I do feel like the titles are a disservice to the product, as well as I don't think they honestly reflect what he or the audience thinks. I think he's doing it to get, it is a kind of attention thing, or clickbaity thing, to an extent, once again. And he does have great points. I'm not taking away from that stuff, but I do think there are things that he's not taking into consideration, or maybe he doesn't have the full picture, even though he has the longer videos. But I don't know, like, what do you think at the end of the day? Do you think the titles are fine? Or do you think the opposite? What is your opinion? I know there are people who hate Skyrim. I think people who hate Skyrim just to hate on it because it's popular don't have enough reason to say the game is bad. At least Salt Factory has plenty to say, like, he may not enjoy Skyrim. Somebody else. But it does kind of come across in a disingenuous way, or whatever. Oh no, it's hard. It's once again, it's hard to talk about. It's hard for me to explain. I don't know how to go about it, honestly. But damn it, didn't mean to do that. But at the end of the day, I still had fun. I still thought his videos were fine. I just think that those titles are pissing me off. I let Skyrim go. Like, you can tell that I let Skyrim go because that video's been out forever now. And now I'm seeing the Mass Effect 1 and I'm finally coming forward. Like, okay, like, yeah, the Mass Effect, yeah, the Witcher 1, and while I don't honestly disagree with the Witcher 2 video title, I do have problems that would probably be similar to what I had today with those other two. I just feel like I think he should have just stuck to a title that works for all of them. Like, I don't know, because as good as I remember, it does speak truth. I guess what I would say is don't do Skyrim. I don't know. No, I don't know what he would give the titles. I guess I can't say for myself. I do think the Shallow one is a bit much, though. That one's actually worse than the Mass Effect 3 one. But I don't think that Mass Effect 3 is honest, even to, like, did he truly hate Mass Effect 3? I don't know if he hated Mass Effect 3 because he's going off the ending, just like everybody else. That just kind of seems like he's rushing into it kind of title alone. What he thought of it. Maybe, like, I don't think even he thought that Mass Effect 3 was bad. He just, like everybody else, hated that ending, and I guess that gave a bigger ripple through the rest of the game, even though I think there's a lot of good in the rest of the game. And I mean, there's Mass Effect Andromeda exists, so no. And Mass Effect Andromeda has a lot of problems with its sense of danger, its scale, and its RPG elements are even worse than Mass Effect 3's. as well as even its glitches were way worse than Mass Effect 3's, believe me. Man, they were bad. Um, from the awful animations to a lot of the glitches of enemies T-posing or falling through the world or some dumb crap or clipping through stuff. Um, even ruining some of your saves, which thank goodness the saves are consistently at least good to an extent, depending on what you set them to and the settings, how they work. Otherwise, they probably would be garbage. I'm Jeff Goldbluming it up. But when it comes to it, I think that Mass Effect Andromeda has worse RPG elements. It barely has RPG elements. I mean, does any of the your crew die in it? Like, even in Mass Effect 1, they took a lot, it had a lot of guts to kill off characters like Rex and Caden and Ashley, even though a lot of people don't care about Caden and Ashley. But man, those games had guts and they just kept pulling their punches with each game. Even Mass Effect 3, which I think is probably the strongest one in terms of like how they kill off your characters. I feel like there's still weight and choices there, because there are things that can still change in Mass Effect 3. Like, not everything. Like, characters are going to die, but you can either change the way they do die, or they don't die at all. Like, you can have freaking Tally die and such. And none of those characters are supposed to die in the terms of how the direction of the story. You can still have Tally live throughout it, or Rex live throughout it, or most of those characters. But there are characters that either die in their place, or they both die. So I feel like there's still weight to the choices. What characters that are important die in freaking Mass Effect Andromeda? Where's the weight of that? And where is the weight of your, like, Paragon Renegade? Where are the Paragon Renegades? It's kind of devoted to the same looking option for all of them. It's like, what? It feels very childish, and even, like, it feels to an extent like it doesn't respect the player, like the player's intelligence. I at least feel like games like Skyrim and Mass Effect 3 respect the player's intelligence, but Mass Effect Andromeda does not. And I do think that game is as bad as I remember. It's got good things to it, and I can't say it's completely a bad game. There's enough there, but I do feel like a Ubisoft game or a game like Andromeda is truly where a lot of the samey content is actually a problem. Where Skyrim does do the same thing, definitely, but Skyrim has a lot of other things working to its advantage, such as its personality and how the world interacts with you nonetheless, or how you interact with it. Like, I still feel like that is strong in there. I don't see that in, say, Assassin's Creed or anything. I don't feel that same personality and such. I forgot to show you guys some of the other places. I'm sorry that I'm just kind of wandering around. Can look at these. Well, oh, somebody changed the color of the sign. Jactus Cactus. Travis Scott. Cactus Scott did. Simply Vibing Cactus. Simply Vibbin Cactus. And Simply Vibing Cactus. That's Simply Vibe, sorry. I actually wanted to call this Jactus Cactus Cactus. Or Jactus Cactus Cactus. But it wouldn't let me. Oh, this is supposed to be a really lame Halo ring, by the way. Got the destroyed our most sacred of rings, so I made it like this. I wanted it to be a broken one because then I realized halfway building it was going to conflict with this Imperial Guard tower. There's some snowmen guys in there. That's Iron Giant's house. That's the temple that holds the Ender Egg. Let me actually show you. I have to look down when I open the door. We all know this. So there's the ender egg. You got some chests, even an ender chest. We got a bunch of things going on in this world. Let me show you Dana's house. All that stuff, by the way, over here, I forgot to say. So, first off, this is a Nazgul guard tower. We kind of have this, like, conflict between each of the Dark Lords that are taking over here. Like, Darth Vader has a lot of Imperial forces around. And then you got Sauron here. I made a pun with his frickin' with that. He's also, for mayor, he's giving you cocaine. It's sugar cane, but you know. Or sugar. This is a simple sonic course, small green hill. So it's just meant to be very simplified. This is the spring, like, you're like supposed to run up that, you know. I just made this thing as like, oh, you can actually bounce off of this thing now. I don't know if you can bounce into it when you jump. Jump into it, yeah. We got a bunch of weed. This is our boardwalk. I should show you AJ's new place that he's building over there. That's my other friend's house out in the water there. He made that little house. This is my friend Dana's house. This is a contraption for watermelons and pumpkins. Let's get in here. So this is my friend Dana's house. Maybe I'll record with him sometime. It'll be cool to have him. He's also got a big map of the area. I don't know if everything... Oh, it looks like everything did appear on the map finally. So that's there. It even looks like the thing. It looks kind of like a middle finger too, or penis. No. You even got the tower here and there. Yeah, it looks like everything's filling out. It's pretty cool. There's a lot that is built and constructed. There's the Emperor's place. We found an area to the Warden finally. There's my friend's place. I'll show that. Let me show the downstairs of this area first. This is my friend's place. He's got his house here. So you can see into the water. I have to put more of those glowstone blocks down there to keep drowned from coming. So you can see their friend's house. I am here by my free will. I am not a slave. I love my life. Oh, he's made another section of people. That's cool. It's got some iron in the wall. He'll take care of that. Let me show you back here. So this is the villager lounge. There's a lot of villagers. We might even take some of the villagers out and have them wander the area if they want, if they so please. We have to make sure it's safe first. This is the bushes. We might have to move the bushes and such. Yeah, that's his house. Let's go to AJ's place, which is this way. And then I'll go to the Emperor's place. Show you that place. This is the dock. Woo! Let's do a little bit. Yeah, I just thought that the titles suck. And I know my title for this video is probably like, I don't know if YouTube's gonna like the title of me saying Salt Factory's video titles piss me off. Or that piss off those titles. Yeah, I think that the titles should piss off. I don't like his titles to his videos. As of lately, at least. Like, piss off with those titles lately. I let the Skyrim one slide for now. I ain't letting this slide this time. After that Mass Effect one, I'm just like, okay, you know what? Never mind. You can piss off. You can actually piss off. Yeah, he's not done with this place yet, but he's getting there. Wonder if he has enough. Did he utilize the supplies I gave him? I'll have to check. Ugh. Oh, there's a stairway here, too. Yeah, there's a lot going on down here. It's pretty cool. I like it. Oh, he's got a little workstation here. Yeah. Oh, what the hell? Oh. That's weird. I think he needs to widen that out a bit. Yeah, his supplies was over here. I have to download my skins because none of my skins downloaded. Okay, it does look like he used, I'll take the leads though. I do need the leads. Whoops, I didn't mean to take the fences. I gave him those fences. Alright, so yeah, like, that's pretty much everything I think. Look how that freaking Sauron's tower. Oh yeah, you can go up on the wall here. Let's do that. Ta-da! You can see practically I have the render distance down in case of frame rate or lag. Yeah, frame rate is down a little bit, so you can see the entire place from here. Whee! Boop. Probably show you the Joker place too. But I don't have much else to say, and I think that'll be it for now. I will get to the Joker Batman video. I'm sorry it's taking a while. I gotta wait for the update too. And then I will get to more read-alongs. I actually have to do 3 read-alongs because they are library books and I need to return them during the proper time. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy nonetheless. And I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye! Like, share, and subscribe, leave your comments below, and I will see you on the next video.